Hey. Hey. Hi. Hi. I am a special person. I look okay. This is like backlighting from the back on my face. It doesn't look as good. I know how to look better with the lighting and stuff like right there. I know how to look better. When I was younger, I filmed myself in only ideal lighting conditions and when my face looked good and my body looked good, and if it looked at all looked like there was anything wrong with the way that I looked, if it at all looked like there's anything wrong with the way that I looked that bothered me, I wouldn't put it in my videos. And I didn't film any live videos. And anytime I thought there's something wrong with the way I looked that made me feel bad, I didn't put it in a video. I didn't put it in a video. You know, I'm not trying to look like someone else who I'm not, but I didn't like to look bad. So these live videos that show every angle, if you're feeling confident enough, you can look good from every angle. It doesn't need editing when you're confident feeling enough. So I don't know. Maybe it doesn't mean anything at all in some instances. But other instances, Sylvester Stallone, he'd look way better if he really talked to the cinematographer and got him to, he'd look way better in his movies than he looks in real life. Like in real life, when you see him, the paparazzi take pictures. When you see the paparazzi take pictures of Sylvester Stallone, when the paparazzi take pictures of him, you've seen him walking down the street in his element, just like walking around town, Los Angeles, and wearing his cool clothes he feels confident in and feeling good and looking good. He looks really good, looks cool when you see him out there, with people taking pictures of him on the street and stuff when he's walking around. And then when he acted in some of those movies, they like got a bad angle of him and it looked like he was really old, like on the side. Like his face looked kind of old. But when he was walking the streets of his place that he feels comfortable at, because he's Sylvester Stallone, I think he looked better in the face and more, like nothing wrong, like no weird ass anxieties trying to bother him or make him feel bad for like me even talking about something like that and acknowledging that people want to look better and want to look healthier. People don't want to look bad. They don't want to feel unhealthy. They aspire to look and feel as good as they can. They want to look good too. They don't want to look bad. And I don't understand why people pretend that's not something real and then pretend, and because in the Bible, the truth about it, the Bible says, is that those things are not as important. Those are not as important. Your appearance, your body, stuff like that. But do you want your entire body and the things that make you feel good to fucking die so your soul goes immediately to heaven? Does that make you feel happy living that way for another 30 years of suffering or 10 years or 20 years to feel that fucking awful about your fucking appearance and your body and your body? Do you like feeling bad and being unhealthy? No. Do you like looking bad? Like, it depends on the individual. Some people, this stuff doesn't bother them as much, But I've gained 20 or 30 pounds. I've gained 20 or 30 pounds. And I'd like to lose weight, and I've lost some weight. I'm not lost. I'm not lost. Protect me from evil, Jesus. Anyway, hey. Who says that? That guy who's a one-hit wonder, a fucking 15 minute of fame, fucking meme person who never worked at it a day in his life and happened to show up one day and they took a picture of him and he got famous and then he worked really fucking hard at it to continue with his fame. And maybe he's way more famous than I am for all I know. And they're all different kinds of famous people or people in everyday life, and you can't judge them. So just because some meme, you can't judge them. I should try to not judge others. I should try to not judge others. Hey. Who's watching this? Tim Allen? Tim Allen, Tim Tool Man? I like feeling better about my appearance. It makes me feel good. Why would I want to feel like I look bad? Why would I want to, like, how can you, why would you aspire to look bad? Why would you aspire to look bad and feel good when you're well aware that you don't like to look bad? Just to make, to like constantly be an emotional support for other people that you're like, who, are good people and they don't even look bad. They don't even look bad. And, maybe they have their health and stuff, but you want to kind of do things your way that make you happy sometimes. Like I want to do things my way that make me happy sometimes. I like standing here. It makes me feel better from this fucking cold climate. I don't know what else to say about it. Who would choose a cold climate when you had the option to live somewhere warm, unless you're being kind to family, doing God's work and staying there. But for the people who chose this to enjoy it, well, wow, they must really enjoy it and like the snow out there. It's kind of beautiful anyway. It's kind of beautiful, the snow. And the cold climate, some people enjoy it rather than warm. I understand. I just don't personally, I like the snow. I like the snow. I really like the snow. That's about the only thing that I like about cold weather, the snow. I like warm weather. Makes me feel good. It feels good to my body. I like it. I haven't had that as much. I've had to stay here every winter, hiding out from I don't know what, doing God's work as best I was able. I found God in Jesus by being away from others. I found God in Jesus more than ever by being away from others and being closer to where God and Jesus wanted me to be having a better relationship with God and Jesus. I don't know, it's like really warm where I'm standing. It's kind of hot. Feels like the nice warm feeling is like too much. But now I like it. Maybe it's because I was showing that cold ass snow. Cold snow. No, the cold snow. It looks really beautiful out there. I'd like to be an Instagram model, but apparently, well, something about Instagram said you're not supposed to just be a model who shows pictures of himself. I don't want that to be my life's work. That's generally not what you should be your main thing. That's good if you can do that. If you look really good and you can, that may be something amazing. But I suggest learning how to be an actor and getting really good at it, like really, studying and learning, getting better at stuff. Or if you want to be an Instagram model and you're into your appearance and stuff, then really studying health and fitness and stuff and being an expert at it, if that's your thing, but it's not mine. I had to do filmmaking. I had to go to school. I had to be a screenwriter, really good writer, stuff like that. Feels fucking terrible. I like to look better. It makes me feel better to look better. And I have not been able to feel good about my appearance till like fucking now. Till like right now. It has sucked. It has felt awful. It has felt fucking awful being 20 or 30 pounds overweight just so other people can feel good about themselves. They don't even notice. I apologize, Dad. I apologize, older people. I apologize, Al. They don't see the what they think are maybe subtle differences in things that make the difference to me between feeling okay and healthy and happy and feeling awful and maybe, feeling bad and it's like they almost don't acknowledge it because they chose a life that was not, where looks were not as important. And, they were about confidence. And they thought, however people look, they're pretty much going to not look that bad unless there's, something pretty different about them. or they're too heavy, way too heavy or something. But, you know, I think my father, that was never an issue for him. His appearance, I think, was never a problem for him. So he maybe doesn't have to worry about it. I don't know. But it's not my father who's at fault for my problems. He's helped me be the person who I am today. So I can do God's work. So I did God's work. So I followed God in Jesus. And I was kind about it, wherever I went through. You know, it's not his, he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't, he's been a good father. And so is my mom's been a good mother as a parent. They're prime parents. And they helped me to work at real estate, which I didn't understand anything. They helped me to, by some miracle, I did God's work, and they happened to make more money at it, at real estate. And that's, almost anyone can get rich at real estate. Almost anyone. It's almost, I don't want to say it too much, but when you look at the top 1% of wealth, and the wealthiest people are in the top 1%, I'm telling you right now, if you want to have more money, you want to be rich, this is how you do it. This is how you can possibly do it. For some, it's not for some. It's not for everyone. God has a different plan for us. Sometimes it's not for you. But if you think you really want to do it, real estate is the way to make money. And I'll tell you why I realized it the other day. Because when you work hard at it, it makes money. When you work hard at it, it makes money more than 90% of the time. The least, more than 80% of the time. Okay, so here's how you do it. This is why. Look at the top 1% of rich people in America. The top 1%. Those wealthy, elite people you've always heard about. They're in the top 1%. We all know there's that 1% of really rich people. And this is just money. This is just to tell someone who may have less money to help you and tell you the truth about, you don't have to have little amounts of money. You can have tons of money. This is telling you right now, to help someone, to be kind, so I can do God's work. And it's a miracle that I've found this by finding a statistic online that says why, through knowing about real estate and how it's done, and this will tell you sum it all up, how easy it is to make almost as much money as you want. You might be able to make $200 million. You might be able to make $200 million. I'm serious. This is real. This is how you do it while you're able-bodied enough. It's, the top 1% of rich people in the nation that, you hear about them, they have the most money. You know how 90% of those top 1% made their wealth? At real estate. The top 1% in the nation, in America, made all of that money. Well, 90% of them, 90% of the top 1% made their money at real estate. Arnold Schwarzenegger did. He didn't make the majority of his wealth at acting. He made maybe 80 million. He made tons of money. I didn't make that. We don't make that types of money. The people I know in my life. And the rest of his 300 or 400 or million or so, he made it real estate. He started investing what he earned as a Mr. Universe. I don't do steroids. I have a kind of regular body, a little stronger. But he was Mr. Universe, and when he wasn't working out for the 4 or 5 hours a day that he worked out, he had an ambition to work hard. He liked working hard. He got that from his father. He worked hard. That's the thing, that if your parents don't work really hard and you didn't get a really hard work ethic, you'll have to do that. You have to do that, and you'd be surprised at what you're able to do, and it won't hurt your body. As hard as it's like as hard as you can work. Almost as hard as you can work until you figure out, wow, that might hurt me, and I got to change. I got to work at something different. Maybe working out, like jogging, eating less food. You don't have to do the weights that I do. Something to do something for your health, so you can keep working more. And this, you can take it easy sometimes, but here's what you do to make tons of money at real estate. And the top 1%, 90% of them made it at real estate. They really made it real estate. So that just says that if you work hard at it, it's almost 100% way. It's like an 80 something percent way you will make money at it. And you can make a lot of money at it. And see, what you do is, at first you work a regular job. At first you're gonna have to work really hard. You work a regular job, and you might have to get 2 jobs until you can either get 40,000, access to 40,000 cash on credit cards by getting your credit high enough, or work 2 jobs for like a year and a half or a few years. Might be a few years. That'd be difficult. Can you imagine working 2 jobs for a few years? And at our age, you'd be surprised at how hard we can work. And or younger, a little older, however, so when you work 2 jobs, maybe 6 hours a day, 5 or 6 hours a day for 2 of those jobs, you'll be able to save like 15,000 a year, 20,000, 10,000, maybe 10,000. And then after 2 or 3 years, you'll have 20, 30, or $40,000 and access to credit cards as a backup if you needed the cash to finish working on the house. Then you can keep one job, is what my parents say to do. Keep one regular job, and you'll have money. You'll have money to invest. You need cash to start working at real estate, and then you have $40,000. Try to get access to 40,000 cash. That's how you get started. And then you buy a house for 20,000 or something, 10,000, 8,000. And then you work really, really hard at it. More. It takes a while. It might take 2 years to finally finish one house if you're doing it with a regular job. And then you sell it, and you made up to $80,000. You have 80,000 cash or more. That's at the low end. Or you could, and then you can do another house and quit your fucking job and really work at real estate. Really work hard at real estate. That's how if you start at a young enough age, you can make up to 200 million. And so it's about the hard work, but you have to know what you're doing too, and that's the way you can get rich is real estate. Almost a definite way, but you got to work really hard. Anyway, so I found when I worked really hard at it here and there, it made some money. It made some money. But I don't have $200 million or something like that. But I found when you work hard at it, you can make money at it. It makes money. So I worked at it for 14 or 15 years. It was not easy. It was not easy. 80% of it was like, oh gosh, it was not easy. And I really had to do that and live that and be one of those workers. One of the workers that when I was in California and I was a student and I thought I'd be famous, and I was working unimaginably hard at being famous for my work, my original work, my beautiful, brilliant, timeless work that would not only be the best on earth, but into the universe for aliens to come down and to continue living for another 1,000 years, 150 years. I had these tremendous ambitions. There was no limit to as big as I could dream, as big as I could think and dream. And I worked at it relentlessly and thought big and dreamed big. And that's why I have what I have today. And by the grace of God, because of God. And my little sister had very little early on in life, but she just now started, like, she's been working harder and doing bigger things than I had, some of them bigger things than I had done, but not, not quite as big as I had done, because I wanted to be the number one, at least on earth. And it turned into some scary stuff that I wasn't expecting, and, or I wasn't thinking of. And, but I don't know how. I think the devil tricked me a little bit, or tried to trick me. And by some miracle, I found God and Jesus in enough time that I know, oh, okay, I don't have to be the number one. That's not what's most important. But I don't need to have the hugest earthly goals. But some of that makes me happy. Some of that, some of that makes me feel okay and happy and okay enough. And I think I can't retire right now. And I've been at this, at, 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 at working at things and stuff. I don't want to say my age, but I probably can't retire. But I think I by some miracle, I had to work at real estate to survive. It was something that I didn't know what else to do other than to do my parents' kind of work when I had to pay my bills. And at first it was like, I don't work that hard, and it still made me want to die when I had to do it. When I had to mow a lawn, my dad would show up at my house unexpected. My dad would show up at my house, and he made me work because I hadn't worked all week. I hadn't worked all week. I was like I wasn't playing video games. My kids play video games. I was on MySpace relentlessly trying to get as many followers as I could so I didn't have to suffer and die. That's all I knew how to do. I was like really trying to get a bunch of followers back then, and or working out or being there for Danica, doing God's work, stuff like that. And I had just eaten a bunch of food, and I felt like laying in a bed or sitting down or something or whatever it was. Not laying in a bed, but like I was doing my own thing. I thought I'd be famous already. Been working at it so long for my art and film and stuff, and it wasn't anything that bothered me. It was like I wouldn't want to go on a computer now. I don't feel like going on a computer now. And then my dad would show up at the door. My dad would show up at the door. And he'd say, come on, we gotta mow a lawn. And I'd be like, oh no, mow a lawn. And and I'd have to mow some lawn no matter how I felt. It was funny. Here he is. Here's my dad. Back then my sister was into music and stuff, and I thought it was cool. This was like some famous band or whatever. I had a kind of long bangs like the skateboarders, and I had regular. That's my dad. He's tall. He's kind of tall. He's like 6'2". And the amazing thing, my grandfather was tall, but his genetic father was short. His genetic father was short. He was called a wee man. That's why I like wee man. Somehow it's okay for me to like wee man, but he wasn't that small like wee man. He was like 5'2" or something. But my dad ended up tall because the father who, my real grandfather, who's his real father, adopted him, and he ended up tall like my grandfather. My grandfather's a little taller. He's like 6'3" or 6'4". My dad is like 6'2" or was 6'2" or 6'2". He's taller than me. Sometimes I think when people get a little older, or any people, sometimes they look a little shorter, or a little taller based on how tall they're standing. Nearly killed me. What? I don't know. All of a sudden I felt always for others, constantly for others. I'm tired of it, kind of. But I have to. It's like constant God's work, a lot of God's work. I think I did a lot of God's work, but, I like to look good, feel good about myself. Instead of like constantly standing, I don't know how Al did it. Al moved in with his parents when they were in their 70s, and he thought they were about to die. He thought they were about to die. He didn't know. He thought like, wow, they're pretty old, and he didn't know. He thought they were gonna die, and he kept living for them, believing in them, emotionally supportive. Somewhere along the line, his father was skinny. He stayed skinny, and Al gave up the will to live because his wife had died, and he gave up. He didn't want to live anymore, and he thought he'll eat himself to death, and he got really fat, and he got really fat, and his parents, he kept supporting his parents emotionally. He wasn't that fat. It was like 380 pounds or something, or 280. I don't know how fat he really was, but I can tell by looking at his body, he was a little fatter, but he doesn't have any stretch marks. Like it's hard to tell. Like, he'd walk around here with no shirt sometimes, and he looked like kind of, he wasn't that fat anymore, but he didn't have you couldn't tell that he had been fat, but I've known him long enough now that I can kind of tell, or I just said, oh, he must have been a little heavier. It took a while for me to know him well enough to know that, I trusted him, and I know he was fat, and I could tell he was telling the truth, and he's my friend. But he was an emotional support for his parents, and they lived to be 103. I think 103. I think that's their real age that they lived to, 103. I think late 90s, hundreds, something like that. But I think 103, and he supported them the entire time. Somehow he ended up with a bunch of money, and he kind of spent it. I don't know what happened near the end. His parents had almost no money when they died. I don't know what happened, but he helped them get into heaven and be good people, and he helped them be more kind. And somehow, they lived until 2008, when there's a real estate crash. Something happened to their houses or something, he said, and they're in real estate too, but a little different from my parents. And they lived to 103 somehow. I don't know how, but I think Taza would. My little sister Taza would. I don't know how I'd be there for my parents. I think that's too much for me to do when I have children, my wife and children. My real responsibility, I think, is my children, but I think they're somewhat my responsibility. My parents are somewhat my responsibility. So, but mostly it's my I think now it's my kids. I think I'm supposed to get out of here because be with my kids and be here, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. It's up to God. So I've done my best God's work, and somehow I've been here for a while. I don't know. But it's a lot of God's work. It takes a lot out of people. And I'm at the age where I know that people have looked their best and felt their best and felt amazing and looked really good, like they were 40 years younger when they're in their 60s sometimes. I know it's possible. I've seen them. I've seen examples of them. And that's what made me happy. To look forward to the future and the things that made me feel good, like, oh, I wouldn't have to look awful. I could still be cool in the ways, that I enjoy, and be kind. But of course, be kind, but it actually, get to do things. But it's become a bunch of work. And for about a year, 10 months, whatever the fuck the amount of time is, I've been feeling it pretty bad, and been 20 or 30 pounds heavier, which has been kind of difficult on my body. It's been kind of difficult on my body. When I was younger, I didn't like getting up to that heavy, and when I did, I didn't run because I didn't want to hurt myself, and I was aware of the body change, the weight changes that I went through, and for some reason, I've had to keep on that weight for I don't know, for a little while, and thinking about it makes my fucking forehead feel older, makes my looks feel bad, makes me feel bad about myself, and I've had to stay that way for fucking 10 months. It has been so fucking awful. I don't know why, but sometimes but sometimes it feels okay. Like January of 2020, I felt amazing. My face, if you look at my videos from January of 2020, I didn't have a flaw on my face that I'm aware of, other than, of course, we're all flawed. We're all flawed. I'm not perfect. I had to embrace that idea, which then eventually turned into, I guess, me not looking as good, because I know those things are not as important to aspire to. You don't put those first, constantly work at your health and your appearance all the time. And it has sucked, and I'm aware that I wasn't allowed to work those things as much, and I put God first instead. And it's like, almost aware that your body is getting older and feeling bad and not as good, and I don't like it, and I don't like it when I'm aware there are people who are you know, who were older than me and looked amazing. Even my well, I know my mom when she was 52. Well, I know my mom looked that way. Of course, I know my mom. I talk to her a bunch. I text her almost, every few days. I don't want to talk to them anymore. It's inappropriate. Sometimes I can talk to them, of course, but that's disgusting. But when she was, as far as a fucking excuse for how I want to feel, and when she was 52, she looked like she was 30, 30, 32, or something like 30 or 32 when she was 52. I have video of it on my channel. If you look up 19, it's awful to say, but the late 90s year, but there's an old home video of it having my channel. I don't want to say, but why did she get to, well, maybe she looked kind of older too and said she was old when she was younger too, but then she still looked okay by the time she was like, I don't know, but that's her and my dad, and I kind of like to finally get away from that and be with my wife and kids, and be away from all others on earth, and be with my wife and kids, and do things my fucking way in LA, be famous for my work, doing things my fucking way, socializing out there, enjoying myself. Hey, my mom wants to talk. My dad, hi, how are you? Hey, how are you? I love you. Okay, I'm doing my thing now. Finally, me, my wife, my kids, going to Los Angeles, working on movies, doing things that I'm actually really amazingly good at because I worked that hard and had a natural ability for it somewhat when I started, and worked really fucking hard at it because I believed I was really good. And that's kind of the idea behind talent. And no one in particular may have another talent better than another. It's really how much you believe in yourself and how much someone tells you that how good and amazing you are. And that goes back to who your parents are and how or how much you believed in yourself. Some people can do it whether or not, their parents tell them they can do it. Some people are able to do things on their own. And, yeah. Coffee shop. Yeah. Here at the coffee shop. Here at the fucking coffee. Here at the coffee shop. Yeah. Yep. I'm here sitting down with a computer in front of everyone, posing like I'm doing something when I'm not. I don't know if that's true. I couldn't sit there. I was never able to do much work around random ass people. I like doing work from home, but they're able to. They're able to do amazing things out there in a computer in a coffee shop somehow. I don't know how. When I was younger, I didn't get it and kept having to do it and kept having to do it and kept having to do it. I was never able to do that when I was younger until they fucking really did some shit to, I don't know. I don't know. They didn't change my brain that much. My brain's good. And I believe in God and Jesus, I believe in God and Jesus. I want to move. I want to get out of here. I'm afraid of it. I'm afraid of the limited enjoyment and personal happiness that, is out there for me in this town. And I want to sell this house because it's kind of scary, They don't have movie jobs there. They have amazing, beautiful, good jobs. But I think I just want to get out of this town. I have worked so they're gonna try to kill me now. They're literally gonna try to kill me or not. Hopefully or not. I think I want to sell my house and go to LA. I got worried the other day. I was thinking about going out there in the town. I gotta worry about it. Why did they not let me film videos for 6 years out there? Unless it was at the pool where my parents went, where my parents, the church pool where, that was okay. My parents were at my parents' house, which still it was like film in the ground. As a filmmaker, that was all I was. That was all. I don't get it. That was it. Filming the fucking ground, like someone who doesn't even know how to film a video. That was all I was allowed to do in 6 years. Besides hiding out in my house and making videos that, some of them were okay. And I know how to write original movies and do actual and real movies. And for some reason, when I said the word movie, it was like somebody trying to make me feel bad and hurt me. And anxiety about it hurt me for saying the word movie. That was under attack. The word creative, the word Hollywood, the word LA, YouTube, the word YouTube was under attack. All those fucking things attacked some fucking person against it. Someone in the people I know, or someone, I think it's not even the town. It's not even Roanoke. Danica went huge in Roanoke. It's just something about honoring my parents. I had to do it that way. Have anxiety and worry. That's what I was talking about, anxiety and worry. It's not Roanoke. How could, it's not my parents' fault. Because of my parents, I am who I am. I am a filmmaker because of them. I was a skateboarder before I fucking gained 20 or 30 pounds this last year, which by a miracle, maybe I'll be able to do the things I enjoy. And I was the only one who had to tell myself that the way I feel is because I gained weight. No one else knows that. No one cares. No one gives a fuck. And the people who I know that much, they don't know the difference and they don't give a fuck. And my wife has not been there for me, and I have almost no one there before besides God and Jesus. Besides God and Jesus, God loves me. Do other people care if I'm 20 or 30 pounds overweight when they have problems with their health? Fucking all of them are like, I'm sorry, one of my really good friends hurt his arm. He doesn't work out as much anymore because he dieted for so long. He was so skinny. I want to help him get into weight training. I know he can strengthen that arm that he hurt and get really buff and cool and strong. And, there's someone else in my family who thinks that's gay, who somehow they think that's gay because they have way worse problems because they're older and their health, they may die any day or they may live 20 or 30 more years, and I hope they live 20 or 30 more years and they're healthy. And it's like to even mention my friend who had a hurt arm to try to strengthen his arm out of kindness was like turned into being gay because the other person may die. It's way more important to be kind to the other person. The other guy with a hurt arm has good health. Who cares, that much? He's good already. I care that much. I care. His wife cares. He has a wife who loves him. He has a wife there for him so they can be okay. My kids love me. My kids care, but they don't know the difference between some stupid little stuff. Like 20 or 30 pound weight gain that fucking made me feel so bad that I couldn't go out there and, I couldn't run there as much unless I had drank coffee and not had that much food and was careful. Maybe I could jog a little bit, but not after I had any amount of food. I was so fucking heavy. And for that to be a problem, but a worry that it could turn into something worse, and was pretty scary. And having to work at that, as another thing to work at when, but my kids, they want me to be okay. They want me to be okay. So I have them. They want me to be okay, but I don't know I don't know. And Danica is surrounded by these other fucking people. I don't know why they even have to be around my wife and kids. I mean, I hope they're okay. I hope they're okay, but I mean, I don't know if Danica's my wife. I don't even know if she's my wife or ever will be again. And yet I write to her. I've written to her. I wrote to her. I write to her every day almost. And for some reason, somebody else in my life tries to make that feel like it's a fag shit going up my asshole. Like a feeling of something in my asshole for saying, that's my wife who I write to every day, and it makes me feel like I'm gay. And I'm guessing that this is from my own sin, because I was so cool and in my element on earth, in a cool, strong, good-looking way when I was younger, right? When I was younger, and I did get a girlfriend. I got a girlfriend after I had waited for Danica 5.5 years, and she still wouldn't be with me. So I finally thought, I have to meet a new wife, like they think their divorce values are so, that's, I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. They can't, I can't judge them for that. But at one time, I was kind of a jerk, and I was with a girlfriend for a few months. And so maybe now why I feel like a fucking whacking his pud failure, little failure by himself on a computer, little nerd. Maybe the reason why I feel like that sometimes is because I don't know. Maybe that's not, well, I know that's not me. I know that's not me because I've been really kind and good, and I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that. And this environment, I'm so tired of. I've lived at this house since the end of 2016. 2016, the future. 2016. 1992, 1982, 19. It's just been so difficult. It's been so difficult. I'd rather not think about it anymore. Don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck. Of course, sports. Football too, because that's all you're allowed to feel that good. Football, stuff you didn't like growing up, things they made fun of you for, the opposite of what you actually enjoy. And because I got to do that and kind of wear Vans for the alt-right shit, that is not why people wear Vans. Is not why people wear Vans today. And then they started the alt-right. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. At least I am a good person. I can't even say how I fucking feel about what I actually enjoy, which of course would be in California, where I can say whatever I feel like as, a political thing. And it's kind, it's good. And I would try to not be as much of a jerk I would try to not be as mean about the other stuff. And I have no reason to, because I'd be away from whatever that is and never have to suffer through that stuff that I had to again. I thought if I was in California, or maybe it wasn't, maybe, now that I found God in Jesus, maybe it'd be okay. But it's kept me like, Al says I'm stuck. How is that going to help me not be stuck? How would that help me not be stuck? Why would you say that about me? I don't understand. And to think there's so much pressure on Danica and my kids to be Republican in that fucking Texas place. Is that all you fucking people know besides Austin? Keep Austin weird? And you tell my kids that weird is bad? They're so fucking Republican. Even the liberal ones are pretty much Republican. Tell my kids weird is bad? Weird's not always bad. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. That's what weird is. They are so crazy, some of them, at that old ass Fox News from 2015 Fox News kind of crazy ass Republican version of it so much, Rowan, Ivan, it's not true. That's not what Republican is. Don't listen to him. But don't be driven by fear. Don't be driven by fear. Don't let Mimi, whoever Mimi is, never mind. That's something maybe different. Don't let Mimi, never mind. It has nothing to do with Mimi, maybe. Maybe it does. I can't even say the person's name who may or may not be what that's about. You know, that's pretty much what that is. And it's like people who want you to die, maybe, or don't want you to die, maybe. You know, it's like, and maybe they have your children there. It's like maybe they have your closest loved ones, the only ones who everything was okay with finally, for all the fucking suffering that I had to go through with body dysmorphic disorder, with not feeling confident, all those feeling like this in the classroom, not knowing what the fuck the teacher's saying, because I had a simple man mind who would have wanted to quit school, drop out, and be on a stage singing like Henry Rollins with his fucking with his hair on his fucking knuckles, maybe with a shaved head to do what my dad said, like Henry Rollins' father did, and married with my wife and kids, not like Henry Rollins, because Henry Rollins might be gay or not, but he's single. You know, I don't know anything about Henry Rollins other than he's confident. He was confident and got to do what he felt like. You know, if it was making him feel bad to be in those schools, he didn't go. You know, and his dad threw him out to get a job or something. You know, he's a different person than me. I don't aspire to be like him. And now he's probably like 50 years old, 52 years old, or whatever. He's 48, or, you know, he might be a little older than that. You know, he made a comeback in 1998. You know, but you know, and he's a single person. I don't aspire to be like that, but I was different. Instead, I had hair on my knuckles a little bit, and I was worried about it. I was so worried. I was worried, and I thought I looked weirder than everyone because I got hurt in the first day of school, and could barely walk from a hernia, and tried to grow my hair in my face, and it was worried. So I did my best in the class, and I studied afterwards. I really studied and worked hard at writing, painting, stuff, you know, schoolwork, and then I found weights on my own. No one besides God and Jesus helps me with weights and strength training. And I had worked so hard at my films in school and stuff like that. I was barely able to walk, and I weighed 125 pounds or 120 pounds or 130 pounds. And when I kept working at those goals, it was hurting my body, and I wasn't getting there as much as I wanted to. And I found strength training and started working out no matter how the fuck I felt. And I got way stronger. And I had no physical problems after that. I got better looking in my body than I had ever been in all those schools I was ever at, besides when I was younger, like a child. You know, I didn't have any issues with my body when I was a child. That was pretty good. I had a good early childhood. And then some school was okay, but I was kind of like insecure. And maybe it was okay anyway. I'm not like Henry Rollins, that's for sure. You know, but I had to find strength training, and then I got really strong and healthy again. And you know, I'm not doing it now. I understand. I get it. Yeah. And it has sucked. It has not felt that good. I have not, like when I was 40, which is a few years ago, I was in the best shape I had ever been in. I think. When I was 40, I was in the best shape I'd ever been in. And I didn't worry about my appearance. You know, I've gone up and down a little bit in my videos, but when I was 40, I was able to jog, walk, and run down the mountain 2 miles back up the mountain, jog, walking, and running. This is a few years ago. Now, don't fucking attack me or judge me, because it has felt so awful for about 10 months, and it has been awful feeling for my physical health. And why would I all of a sudden have to do this just because I'm 20 or 30 pounds heavier than I was, you know, and more and more and more than that. There's some reason for it. It's like hasn't felt my best, but I was trying to feel good again. Now sometimes I feel okay, sometimes I feel okay, sometimes I feel okay. It was like something happened. It's not my parents' fault, but something happened when I went out with my parents one day, and it hurt something on my body, and it wasn't their fault. It was because no matter who I was with, I had drank and then tried to ride a bike down the entire mountain, and it did something to something, but it's not my parents' fault. It's like, for some reason, I was getting away with health that was better than anyone I knew at my age. And all the people, my loved ones in my life, were getting older and having difficulty with their health and stuff like that. So, you know, I pretty much had to cover up my body to even get to go out in public, because it was not allowed to feel good about my health and appearance in public, but it kind of was. But then I got to be way healthier than anyone I'd ever met by age 40, as a super athlete that didn't play fucking football, lifted weights like someone like Henry Rollins with a family. Like, I was super athletic. I weighed 200 pounds and I weighed 205 pounds or 200 pounds, and this was when I was 40, and I could run and walk and jog down the mountain 2 miles, up the mountain again, walking, running, jogging, come in here, do curls with 100-pound dumbbells, do bench press with 100-pound dumbbells, go out there, jog more, go up that hill, go up that mountain, you know, or whatever the fuck it was, come back down. You know, it's like, I was pretty athletic. I don't know, I may not have been like a sports hero, you know, I don't know, but I had to actually do those things, and you know, they were like, it's, you know, some of it was pretty good, and but you know, where did that get my views? To be that athletic and in shape. I don't know how long it was, because I may have gained 5 pounds and been like, he doesn't look that great or something. I don't know. Because apparently I haven't looked good enough to where people give that much of a fuck, give that much, you know, it's like, there's this guy, Brad Castleberry, who took steroids and maybe did a couple times here and there. He's not that huge, but he did steroids. Maybe he's as big as Arnold Schwarzenegger was, but he looks smaller because he's like, has a really small waist, low body fat, and he's looked that amazing the entire time. He's never had to look bad. And supposedly he has like $2 million, but maybe he doesn't. But maybe he doesn't. And I did more screenwriting and other stuff like that, went to school, and I'm a filmmaker. You know, he doesn't know how to do films. He can make some videos that look kind of high production value, but he can't make an entire movie. He doesn't know how to write a screenplay. He doesn't know how to write creatively really well. He doesn't, you know, his thing is working out. He probably does God's work. He has a family or something, but he's not, you know, I don't know how much he had to get a divorce, and I don't know. I can't compare myself to somebody like that. And but you know, apparently that helped his Instagram page way more and his YouTube page way more. And I think it's doing, his YouTube page is not as big as mine, but mine is not that big at all anyway. And he gets more regular views. He gets more views on his new videos, but I have more views than him, and still I barely have. I mean, I have 11 million views. Do you know what that is? There's some guy in this town. Who made a random video that went big in like 2008. In 2008, and one of his random videos happened to go big, and he got 8 million views. And for the longest time, his random video, I had not as many views, no matter how hard I was working at it. And he had started this new channel, that got, I think, 3 billion views, or 1.7 billion views. Billion. And he's around here somewhere. And somehow, it's so scary, he doesn't tell anyone in Roanoke or on his Facebook page or any of the people he knows. He does not promote that he owns that channel and has that channel. And in his house, he has a green screen and puppets and stuff like that. And he does videos for children, and he animates them, and he does it on his computer. And you know, I don't know how good his health is, because that's his, he works at that so much. And he doesn't do working out and stuff as much, but he's gained a little weight, but he might be healthy. I don't know. And and it's like, so he got 1.7 or 2 billion views and made millions of dollars, a few million or whatever. And he's from this town in there. And I have 11 million views. He has 2 billion. And his random channel that he made with his name on it when he first started, you know, he had an ability for getting views or something. And that has 8 million or 10 million views or something, or 8 million views or whatever. And for the longest time, I worked at videos and films, and it still had less views than him. And now I only have 11 million views. And his channel this entire time has had 2 billion, 2 billion. And then when I wrote to him, when I wrote to him one time and said, I got a video that got 63 million views. I didn't know, but then he was pissed and he wouldn't write back. And I looked at his number 1 video, and it had less than 63 million. It had less than 63 million views. But that's on Danica's channel. But I guess it's pretty good for what I've done here. I think the biggest, it's pretty good for, it's pretty good for $200 a month is what it's fucking earning right now. But then I have to think, maybe I have $400,000. Maybe I have $400,000 from the work that I had to do for 15 years. It's something that made me feel awful 80% of the time. Didn't know why I had to do it, but I was doing God's work and I had to do it. And somehow, maybe I have $400,000, maybe I don't, because I'm not going to say, but maybe I do. So I'm grateful for however it had to be in Roanoke, but I'd like to leave and finally get my films and videos noticed. Not some money, it's some other fucking thing that's not my real work. The work that I suffered for and am best at. Not the work that I also had to suffer for but felt bad at. That was the thing that made money, and I wasn't mean about it, but it felt awful. And it felt bad. I didn't do bad, and I always did God's work. Of course, people mess up here and there, but, And you know what? You know how much a 44-year-old man's average net worth is? Probably about $440,000 or more than $200,000. Well, there's a different way to look at it, but if you look up average net worth for an age, you'd be surprised at how many people have so much money doing things like being a school teacher, and the other one is a police officer or whatever they do to make, sometimes they can make $180,000 a year as a teacher and a police officer. $180,000 a year for that. That's in New York City. That's someone I know in our family, and they're retired. They retired in their late 40s or 50s, and they have a son who he's friends with my kids, and they pay him $180,000 a year to be a school teacher at a public school, like an elementary school, and and with my ability at film and music and art and filmmaking, with that, I think if I was in LA, or if I moved to LA, I think I can make way more money and not be killed and not be broken as a human being, which is terrifying. I don't know what that is, or if that's from if I have to stay here. So I want to leave. I want to go to LA, and I don't care if broken means that I miss this house and I miss Roanoke. I'd rather feel broken in Los Angeles than stay here and have those people who are scary somewhat, but I don't know if that's true. Maybe it doesn't have to be. Maybe it's in my mind. I hope to God it's in my mind and they're not really that bad. But I don't know what broken is, or not broken. What's the anxiety word they told me the other day that I thought in my thoughts told me, my thoughts. I got the thought, it will shatter you. It will shatter you. When I was thinking about what it's like to go into the town, into the Republican part of town, it's all Republican, kind of 70%, 60%, 58%, whatever percent it is, majority Republican in Roanoke County, and I live in Roanoke County, but this neighborhood's a little different, and they may have had to be Republican for all I know. I didn't meet the people who built this neighborhood, and you know, it's kind of for 6 years, I've tried to go out in public and enjoy myself. And there were only, besides going to my parents' house was okay, but God's work, difficult, not really feeling my best, how I enjoy the best, but doing God's work and feeling safe and okay because I knew it was my parents, and kind of like, you know, standing up for them and stuff, but it never got that bad because they love me and want me to be okay. And it was that way in Texas a little bit too. It was that way in Texas. They were never that mean to me, and you know, but it was, it was not easy in Texas sometimes being at her dad's house and some of the things that happened, and but it's not her dad's fault, but I don't know what that is. Does anyone know? I want to find out what it will shatter you means. When I was thinking about going into town and the worry about them not allowing me to be myself out in public, to look good, to wear a shirt, a t-shirt, something that I feel good about, or, you know, feeling good about myself when I go into Roanoke County. It was like, cover up you can't look good, and you have to look older, and you know, that was the feeling that I got from going out there. It wasn't allowed to be myself, and I don't know if it's because I partied a little bit when I was younger here, because on the other side of town of Roanoke County, when I lived in Roanoke County, but it was on a little bit further on that side of town, it was never an issue. It was never a problem. I could go in Kroger. It was always okay. I filmed movies here. It was really good. But just the past 6 years, something, I don't know what it is, but I tried to film videos out there, and 12 times they told me, you can't film, and it was scary. It was kind of scary. I stayed home for days worried about it almost every time it happened, and you know, I don't know what it is. But if that's the worry and that's the thing they might try to shatter me with, or what is shattered? I'm saying it out loud. I don't want it to happen. I refuse. I demand for that never to happen. That will never happen. I don't give a fuck. God and Jesus is what I believe in. You can fuck off, whoever that is. You're fucking done. I don't give a fuck what that is. That's never gonna happen to me. Whatever that fucking shatter is. If it is, I'll be a fucking A-list actor in Los Angeles. You'll never be able to stop that. And that'll be shattered because I had to leave my house. So fuck whoever the fuck that is. I'm not gonna be shattered. I can't do it anymore. I have hidden out from being myself out there for way the fuck too long. And if telling the truth about how they turned me into the fucking brainwashed champion for the right-wing shit that put Trump in office, that's not even good enough for them, then I want to get the fuck out of here. I want to get the fuck out of here to California, where I can be my kind, good, regular self and be good at the work that I do. You know, what, is that the problem? Is that what the problem is? They're still not happy? I was the champion for their fucking things with the shaved head, going out there, work of unrighteousness and meanness, driven by an unimaginable fear to fit in with people like that fucking person who tried to drive my kids by fear. She was the one who fucking did it. She was the one who fucking, I don't care if she's finally dead for what she did. She took my children there, she tried to keep them there, and she tried to brainwash them on evil Republican shit by driving by fear, making them think they're Chinese. She tried to make my son feel like he's Chinese, gave him a haircut and said, yep, Chinese, 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 until he became racist. She tried to make my son a racist, my son Ivan, that bitch. Fuck you! The only way I know to stand up for myself when I get big and powerful enough is this bullshit ass place that made me fucking be a big military fuck with a shaved head. And that's how I'm supposed to fucking stand up for myself? You think I give a fuck about ever fucking being a part of that in any way? That's not me. I'm the fuck out of here to California so I can be my regular, kind, good self. Some big fucking strong military fuck. Is that what the military is? Or is there some different thing that I did not understand about the military? Can I finally please understand what the military is about? Because they have weapons and they go places where they may have to kill people. They may have to kill people. So how is that something that I personally enjoy inside? Maybe it's different from what I think. Maybe they're good people. Maybe they're good people. But why would I have to think about it? I do art, film, music, love, kindness to others, not shooting them with a gun, not hurting people with a gun. Why the fuck would I want to? Okay, the military, they don't have to either. They just go in the military, they're trained for it, they don't have to go to war these days, or maybe they do. I don't know. Okay, it's good. I know many of them get into heaven. But why can't I be the person in Los Angeles that I felt like being, that I enjoy the most, instead of them fucking making me do this shit here? I came back here to start a family shit. They pushed that Republican shit on me. She did it. Her husband is dead. He's dead. He's already dead. I didn't do it. He fucking died because God took his life away for how bad he was. Brainwashed ass Republican. Evil Republican. Not even the kind Republicans who get into heaven. You know? Work of unrighteousness his whole life. Yeah, right down, T-tone, minority. I'm whiter. Like, what the fuck type of mentality is that? The way that man took a bucket of popcorn into a movie theater, and I watched him, all the things he was doing. I watched him. He took a bucket of popcorn, gave it to the black girl. She gave him the bucket of popcorn. He shook it, made the popcorn go down. He made his sounds or whatever the fuck it was. Blame it on minority. Gave it back to her to add more popcorn. Shook his head no at her because she's black. She filled it up with popcorn. Shook his head no at her again. Did this shit to it to make it go down. Gave it to him. Shook his head no at her because she's black. Got the popcorn filled up a little more. Shook his head no at her. And left because she was black. He shook his head no at her because she could never feel okay to him. He would never be kind to her unless it was a little momentary thing that he happened to feel okay. He wanted to burn her body and kill her. He wanted to kill her. He wanted to burn her body. He wanted to hurt all minorities and stand up for Rick down, T-town. And that's why God killed him. No, God didn't kill him. The devil, his own sin killed him. The devil kills us, but his own sin killed him, and God was aware of it and knew that it was his time to go. And I think, when he's judged on Judgment Day, I can't see how he's going to get into heaven. But I think he wanted to really hurt Danica just for being herself. And they had her so driven by fear there to fucking pretend she's a moderate and to pretend that she's Republican. And now they have her thinking she's Republican like they did to me when they took her there for so long. What the fuck are they showing her? And he wanted to kill her. He wanted to kill her or hurt her and put her in a hospital. And I had to write her relentlessly and tell her, don't go into the hospitals that they want you to do and stuff. And by some miracle, she ended up okay and didn't need to get surgeries and all the unnecessary shit. He wanted to cut up people. He did it to my mom. He had her do unnecessary surgeries that she didn't need and shit. He was so fucking mean. And Republicans are cool. Republicans are good. Many of them are good. Liberals are good. That's not what it's about. It's about God and Jesus. But, he was too crazy. He was mean. He wanted to do mean ass shit, and he's dead. He can't hurt him anymore. What's he gonna do? He can't hurt anyone, And I didn't kill him. Who cares? I don't give a fuck. I don't have anything. I didn't do it, so I don't give a fuck. You know what? But I did do this. I imagined this mean ass shit happening to him, and then I was like, there's a movie camera there. It's a movie. It's not gonna hurt you at all. And that was the worst that I ever did. So, thank God it had nothing to do with him dying. As terrifying of a person as he was. And he hated liberals. Wanted to kill him and stuff. He wanted to kill them for being liberal or siding with minorities or being a minority, I think. He was pretty bad. His parents were blonde-haired, blue-eyed Germans from Germany who I don't know when they came here, and he had an insecurity about being a blonde-haired, blue-eyed German, that could have been borderline Nazi sympathizer, or maybe they were Nazi sympathizers, but blonde-haired, blue-eyed German, because they had a foreign accent in America, so he talked like this, and don't think I'm whiter than that, and he I'm sorry. I can't judge him. He might get into heaven. I don't know. He believed in God and Jesus and did God's work in ways that I may not know. So I can't judge him, but he was scary. He was scary. He was scary. And I don't know if any of it's real or not, because it was in my thoughts. But he didn't get Danica, and God took his life before he could hurt her or the kids. And I don't know. I don't know. I thought he was going to hurt him, because he did some, when I saw him at a birthday party one time, it was frightening. And so I protected her from any harm that he might want to do. And he got someone else there, a woman, to kind of go along with it a little bit in her way that she serves herself, feeling good and okay, like she's the best, gets to have a bunch of money and a new car and stuff like that, and feel like she do things her way. And if there's any that might go away or anything, she was afraid. So she kind of, she went to a doctor's office with Danica to make sure the doctor said, they're gonna hurt her. They're gonna hurt her. And I had to be there for her and write her and show her so much love and continue making sure she was okay, and until it was a worry for so long, and by some miracle she's had her health amazing. She's been in really good health for years since then. The worry went away, and so I helped her be okay. But I don't know why the other guy died, but he happened to be a Republican. But some Republicans are good. I don't know why. God had him die. He lived his entire life feeling good, doing things his way, however he felt, and then all of a sudden one day he went into a coma and died. He didn't have to suffer. He didn't have physical problems. He was strong, healthy. He never had. It looked like he didn't have to suffer. I don't know. Maybe he had to suffer little for all. I don't know. But I can't do it. I can't suffer anymore. Maybe he suffered more than I did. I can't judge him, and I don't know. But he was scary to me. He was scary to me somehow. It was scary to me, and it was scary. And somehow God had him die. I don't know why. God had him die for some reason. It was unexpected. I think nobody thought that he was going to die. He just felt a little bit sick. He felt a little bit bad. He went into the doctor, fell into a coma, and died. he went, but it was sad. There's a good side to him. There's a really good side to him, I think, with God and Jesus, and the bad side that may have been pretty mean, but I don't know. And it was sad though. It was sad. I felt really sorry for his wife, and felt like, instead of wanting to be with Danica and the kids, I felt like it was God's work to be kind to his wife for what she had to go through. And I don't know if it was, what she had to go through, or whatever you call her. I don't know if it's a real wife in the Bible, but she was very close to him, and she technically married him. And I felt so sad for what she had to go through when he died, because she had to see him old, and it was sad. And I felt like it was God's work to help her be okay. And she might get into heaven, and the man who died might get into heaven. I don't want to judge him. And my son, I think Rowan is more like me, and Ivan is good too. But Ivan was born in Texas, and they wouldn't let me near him when he was born. they wouldn't let me near him when he was born for that much. You know, it was like all the Texas people, it's their place where they're in their element, they feel the best, or whatever the fuck it's called. They felt happiest, confident. You know, it's their place that I hope they're okay. You know, I can't make them get away from my kids. I don't know what God I don't know what God wants, but you know, it's up to God. I can't judge them. But Danica's father and mother, I think, are pretty good. But her father, you know, it's a little more of an earthly thing that I have as God's work to do. That's more of an earthly relationship I have with him, unfortunately. But there's some good in it, you know. There's some good in it, but you know, I don't know where he's gonna go when he dies. But God knows, and you know, it's kind of, you know, he's okay, but and he's kind of, you know, he's really the person who I married. It's really her father, and he's very close to her, and her mother's very close to her, and I don't know if she's ever gonna get away from them, and that's kind of the reason why. It's kind of the reason why I guess I'm not with her, and I'm not with her and the kids, and I think it's because of her parents, because you know, they got divorced from early on. They thought divorce was okay. She was raised to think, it might be okay if she had to get a divorce, but she wanted babies. She wanted babies, but maybe divorce is not that bad of a sin. I don't know. I can't judge their sin, but you know, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know. I don't know what shatter means, but I trust God and Jesus. I'm sorry I'm so mean about it. I don't want to be a shattered human being. I don't want to be a shattered. It will shatter you. Fuck that. Going out there and not getting to feel confident about myself and good looking in a way that's not some fuck, doesn't necessarily happen to be all American guy or something, you know, which is okay. But you know, feeling okay about myself and doing God's work, but not being afraid to, you know, not being, you know, I don't know. I don't know what it'll shatter you means. It made me want to leave. I don't want to be shattered. What does it'll shatter you? What would that mean? It's what it really means. I believe in God and Jesus. I believe in God and Jesus. You know, what is that idea? It will shatter you. When I was thinking about going into Roanoke, the worry I had there, how they didn't encourage me to, you know, film video. I was afraid to film videos and had to come home, and the way that they were to me in high school, that, you know, was a bunch of God's work and suffering, and it was difficult and not easy and then more school after I got out of high school, and it was to honor my parents somehow, but then I got to be the most popular one and feel really amazing and good, you know, and it had something to do with doing God's work, and I wasn't mean to anyone in high school, and I got to feel okay with some of the kids. I got along with some of the kids, it was okay, but I can't figure out what shattered means. Like, it will shatter you. What does that mean? A thought that it will shatter you. The idea of, you know, kind of being afraid to go out there, why I've stayed at my house in this neighborhood, which, you know, the people here go into town a bunch. Even when it snows, they find a way to go into town, and they like going into town. But I have not gone into town. I've stayed hidden out here, and I don't know why, if it's like a worry that I don't need to worry about or something. But I got the feeling I should stay at this house, and it would be too late if I went to California. But I don't know if that's true, and I almost don't give a fuck because I don't want to be shattered. And I don't want to die at their hands, whoever they are, whoever that fear is, the people who are not like me growing up, or and there are so many of them I got along with at that same time that I was in the schools. I had many friends in the schools, and so it's not them that's bad. Maybe it's not them that's bad, but it's terrifying, scary. It's like, I want to leave. I want to leave, and I don't care if if leaving this special house shatters me. It may shatter me, but at least I'll be away from those people I'm afraid of. Or if I stay here, you know, I have a feeling God wants me to stay here, but I don't see why. I don't see why in any way. I don't understand, besides my house being pretty good and kind of my parents are there, but I don't have to be there for my parents every day, do I? Like, I don't know, I can't figure out what to do. And Al says you're stuck, you know, and I don't want to be stuck. I don't want to be stuck here. You know, and I've been here, I'm tired of being here. Sometimes I go and use the bathroom, and it's so sad using the bathroom using the bathroom the same way and in that same place, that same toilet, that same environment. And I was like, still here after all this time? Or like looking at the cabinet or something, it's like, why am I still here? Or often I'd wake up, I'd be asleep in the bed, taking a nap or sleep at night, however I sleep. And so, you know, okay, I didn't wake up early in the morning. Today I've been awake since 2 or 3 a.m. Okay, I woke up early. Often I'd wake up at 12. Well, one time when I was going out there to work out there every day at my parents' houses, I had to start the day at 12:30 a.m. or 2 a.m. I think I often started the day at 3 or 4 a.m. doing that kind of work that I never wanted to do, and having to wake up early in the morning like a military person, and so many more things that weren't really what I enjoy the best. And it's like, but there are times when it, you know, whenever I woke up, okay, I'm a fire. I woke up in the middle of the day. I took a nap in the middle of the day. Oh, he didn't wake up early in the morning. I'm probably wrong for doing that. I'm a failure. But it's probably something I did wrong. But I woke up by getting to sleep during the day, and other people didn't. But oh man, the work that I had to do alone, suffering alone on this house, and it was pretty awful. But then, you know, I'd often wake up in the bed and be like worried and like, where are my kids? Where are my kids? And why am I still here? What? Oh no, what is it? And like, I'd wake up that way often. And like, I'd say, I don't know, many times to 100 times. And the worry was so bad years ago. And then I got the feeling like the person who's close to Danica, I don't know if it's true or not, tried to make it like, you know, good feeling shallow. She was into glam rock music when she was young, in her 40s or 30s or 40s. You know, Shallow, Poison, you know, the shit that's like kind of old now and scary to think about, that fornication and stuff that we don't, you know, it's not that old, but it's like they're okay or whatever. But she was into the shallow music of it, of the stuff, you know, the stuff that didn't have that much of a really significant meaning and purpose, other than to feel good to the body. And you know, I don't know. But there's something I was gonna say that's more important. I didn't really remember what I was gonna say. But she, I don't know. I can't judge her. I don't know. Yeah, I think that she, at first it was like, I really have to get to my kids. I gotta make sure they're okay. It was like urgent. It was urgent. They had been there for a few months, and that worry was so awful for the first 2 or 3 years. And then it got kind of like, she tried to say, you know, just let it go away, and just be okay, feeling good with it. Like, to try to, you know, there's kinds of people that try to do that to people and take away their originality and replace it with something shallow or bad or awful. And to get into heaven, you have to do your best work. You have to do your best work and really be there for your loved ones. And it's not easy. And I had the feeling like she wanted me to, you know, just don't worry about it. But if she had to, she'd be mean to you and hope you died. And she already prayed that you'd be unable to get there. And you know, I don't know. But at the same time, I can't be too mean to her, because I don't want her to die. I don't want her to die because she's getting older, and I think I was supposed to go there and make sure she was okay and be there around my kids and stuff, who I've been saying stuff that I feel around them, and you know, let's just be truthful about it. So hopefully it helps her and doesn't hurt her. Like, I've been kind of saying what I felt like to. Sometimes I couldn't take it anymore. I just told my kids what I felt, And Danica, I've been saying way what I felt like the entire time, and you know, and I say I love her parents. I hope they're okay. I don't want them to get hurt, or the other person, whoever that is. I don't want to say because I don't want to get in trouble, and and so I so I'm able to be there for my kids and Danica, my kids, whatever order I'm supposed to say that in, and I've been able to do that from 1,000 miles away. That's something that I was able to do, but I think it'd be way amazing and everything finally okay to be there in real life, to for them to be here or to be there in real life with them and just to be with them no matter where I lived, and her to love me and her to love me, her to actually love me a bunch again, to trust me, to love me and really love me and at least be really good friends and be there together, so I can know my kids will be okay, so I can be there for them, because I don't care if I die. I don't care if I die. I don't know what I'd even want to live for, because this kindness to others out there with nothing for myself is kind of what it felt like. But they weren't that mean, so it was like kind of okay, but like really fucking scary. And I felt like I wasn't allowed to be myself, and it may be for my parents. It may be for my parents who just, it's probably not their fault. It's probably not their fault, but I don't know. I don't know. Rather, if somebody shot me in the head with a ping pong ball thing, empty ping pong ball thing, it wouldn't hurt. So that's the only sense I can make of not killing myself. Right then, I did not try to give up and die, for how difficult this is. And it's a difficult situation. And I talked to a psychiatrist the other day, and the other day, I talked to one, and I'm not suicidal. I'm not suicidal. So don't send the cops here for saying Republicans are something that I may not feel happy doing myself. Don't call the cops on me because I'm liberal. You understand that? Don't ever fucking call the cops on me for being liberal. If that's kind of in some small way, and mostly me being myself and not wanting to hurt anyone, because I maybe sinned and messed up in this video, so I'm kind to Republicans. I'm kind to those in Texas. I don't want to judge them. I don't want to judge anyone. Okay, I'm going. Bye. God bless Republicans and liberals. Hee hee. What's really important is God and Jesus. God and Jesus. Oh, terrible. Felt awful like shit. Oh, I guess somebody's attacking it because they want to stand up for Republicans if they're not. Because they aren't. Or I don't know. I don't think there's that much difference between Republican and liberal, and I just thought that and said it out loud. And I know that God and Jesus is more important, but what I said there was maybe not as kind and godly or following God and Jesus as I should have. Maybe it wasn't as kind as I could have been, and kind of sinful and calling other people on their sin and being mean about it and stuff like that, and kind of, it wasn't judging anyone, because I said I don't know if they'll go to heaven or hell, and I'm not against Republicans, not against liberals. I didn't want this bad worry to happen to me, which I couldn't figure out what it meant. And who knows what it means, and I trust in God and Jesus. I'm supposed to trust in God and Jesus, but I don't want to die or suffer from it, from something bad that I really don't want to be killed by it, So I refuse. I refuse. But, if I have to go to California to be myself and die in my own way, I'm going to do that, because I don't want to be killed by the people who stopped my dream of working at film, music, art. I hope my parents are okay. I think it's not my responsibility, but there is no but about that. There is no but about that. That was my own sin. That was our inherent sin, the awful devil that did that, who caused our sin. It's awful. And God is good. God is really good. Jesus is good. God is good. What's that sound? Oh, shit. I get scared by myself. A special person. What are you talking about? This is like backlighting from the back of my face. Why is it playing that? Why is it playing that? I know how to look better. When I was younger, I filmed myself in all. Okay, this is a bunch of talking and some good things, and I hope to God it was good instead of like